the biggest mistake that I see businesses make along these lines is not understanding the problem you're really trying to solve, not knowing the behavior you need to change. We're really conditioned to jump into solving a problem in the way that we first saw it or how it was introduced to us. And a lot of that is because we were trained in school about, here's the question, there's like, this is the problem, there's a solution, problem, solution, problem, solution. But really, it's super easy to find the right answer to the wrong question. And you can waste a lot of time solving problems that aren't going to move the needle for you. It's a lot of busy work, it's expensive, and it's just, if you're making Band-Aids for bacterial infections, meh, right? It's not going to do what you want it to do. And so taking more time to invest in understanding what the real problem is where I really love to help companies to understand what it is they're doing. Once you understand that, you can see what the behaviors are. Where do you want people to go? What do they need to do to get there? What's keeping them from getting there? What's their current status quo? And where can we nudge them along the way? The least amount of points to get from A to B. I mean, that's really, then we can look at the behavioral levers that you pull, but you have to understand the real problem to help motivate that action.
How do you identify the behaviors that are driving them through that process, the journey, and also, like you said, behavioral levers? How do you reduce the friction? So how do you identify these behaviors and reduce the friction in that process?
So this, of course, is the thing that all my students and clients, get in the attorney style answer of always, it depends. It's like, I need a mug that says it depends, or a t-shirt or something, because it's definitely my catchphrase. But, and it truly does. And context is super key to that. But taking something, one of my very favorite examples, and I was not a part of this project, but it's a company called The Littery. And what they have done is they've decided that they're going to help people to properly throw away and sort their garbage every single time. So if I told you that was your new job and you can't do anything else until you've completed this, feeling good about your new job, or you feel like, Sisyphean to the nth degree, right? Like we're never getting there. So even if that's the case, you've decided you're going to rally, you're excited, you're going to get passionate, you're going to make it happen. What would you do? What do you think the problem is? You probably think that people are confused. Like what's compost, what's recycling these days? There's too many things they don't understand. We need a brochure. We need an explainer video. We need facts about how big Garbage Island is. We need pictures of turtles with straws in their noses, or we need a Kardashian or something to go explain why this matters. But that hasn't worked for a really, really long time, right? That's this logical point of trying to say this is what should motivate people. And often in our companies, the thing that we get excited about why we want to do something, we think that people need to care about it in the same way that we do to take the action we want them to take. But really, that's the wrong approach. And so in the case of The Littery, what they have done is they turn litter into lottery tickets, and hence the name. And so they have gone and invented these smart garbage cans that when you put something in, it can tell that you put a bottle in the recycling or you put a bottle in the trash or whatever else. And it will say like, hey, good job, Melina. You recycled that bottle. You're entered into the lottery. Or it will say, sorry, bottles go in the recycling. Make sure to do that next time. Or like, hey, that's a rock. You get nothing. Nice try, right? You don't get anything for this. They tested across movie theaters, 4 of them for 30 days and had 100% compliance. They didn't have to explain what anyone needed to do. People knew what to do, but they needed to be properly motivated. And in this case, it's super selfish, right? Like I could win. And in the movie theater example, it was €500 was the prize, only €500. But again, like, okay, I put the bucket in the trash, I could win $500. Like, yes, right? It's very easy to take the action there. And they had people running through the aisles looking for garbage after. They had women rifling through their bags to see if they had extra tissues to throw away. People knew what to do. And focusing on this other way that can motivate them. We also love a lottery because we have optimism bias and some of these other things. And so stepping back and saying, do I care that they care for the reason I want them to care? Do I care that they're passionate about the planet and about saving the earth? Or do I just want the bottle in the recycling bin at the end of the day? And if you only get one, and you typically do, which do you want? That process of stepping that far enough back from our own companies is very difficult, which is why, consultants like myself can really help to tease it out. But there are a lot of questions you have to ask. I take clients through a process of question storming instead of brainstorming to help to identify those real problems. And with something like the littery, a question like, how do we make litter valuable? Or what makes people excited to take an action instead of saying like, oh, it's a pain, they're confused, it's no fun, whatever. Today, if you walk down the street and you see a bottle, you may think, ugh, some people, they're so gross, I would never do that. But you walk right by it. You don't pick it up, most people, and recycle it, right? If you are walking down the street and you see it and you think, I could win $1 million if I go recycle this thing, it's like, hooray, it's a lottery ticket, right? It's exciting to go throw it away. You're going to pick up the bottle, even if it was trash someone else left. And that can help move the needle, even though it's for a purely selfish reason.
It's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. And I was going to say to you, because when you were describing it, then it sounds like we talked about behaviors earlier on and kind of that journey process. So would you say that the purpose of a really good brand or a good business is to help to, I don't want to use the word train, but kind of habituate your audience and on the flip side, your employees to develop those instincts and that kind of culture? Does that make sense? Is that the kind of thing that if you do it well enough, you can start to do that?
Yeah. I mean, so those 35,000 decisions, we're making those choices based on habits, right? Habits and bias. That's how we make choices. And so understanding the rules is helpful in getting to where you can become the habit and working with and understanding habits. In the case of employees, what I talk about there is understanding change is not the big stuff only, the thing that requires a project management team and a big spreadsheet, of which things like tell the team, get one item on your very long to-do list. But really, decisions, again, in those micro moments, those little snowflakes, you need to be thinking about change. And my argument is that any conversation, any interaction is one of change. You're either in the, wake of changes that have happened already, you're in the midst of a change, or you're preparing for changes yet to come. And you're needing to lay the right groundwork. And something as simple as a bad subject line on an email can derail so much in getting people to be on board with a change. In the same way that if a brand missteps or has a mistake, it can really impact them in a way that is difficult for a lot of people to overcome. But the difference between a business and a brand is how we associate to brands. I really love a quote from Peter Steidl that brands are memories, right? And really that is true. It's a building block of all these interaction points that come into how we see a brand. And when you have a favorite brand, if they mess up a little bit, we still, give them the benefit of the doubt, right? If Disney has a bad movie, it's not like all of Disney is terrible, right? Because we have this affinity and nostalgia and love of Disney. Whereas if a brand new, we're testing something out for the first time and it's bad, well, we think everything they're going to do is bad and we'll write them off, right, forever. So consistent experiences and how you incorporate things like surprise and delight, like you said, habits and ongoing little moments with those clients or customers or members, whatever it is that you have, are really important as you consider experiences and journeys and getting people to be continually thinking of and choosing you.